Wan-Bissaka, Fernandes, matter of seconds. Tellez threw a boot at it, and he's got a corner out of it if Michael Oliver allows time.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I mean, it's just as well that John Stones got himself in position to deny Tellez the volley.
They can't complicate here, United. It's got to be... And rolled kindly for Ederson at the end of a thoroughly engaging first half between the old rivals, in which Kevin De Bruyne has shone. He scored both goals for Manchester City, either side of the goal of the game so far, which was an absolute beauty for United from Jadon Sancho. De Gea had to make a splendid late save.
much under pressure from Malanga and pushes it back towards Ederson just at the edge of his 6-yard box. Lovely left-footed ball from Ederson to find a teammate on the right-hand side, and he moves it forward to Kevin De Bruyne, and Foden wanted it, and it goes beyond Foden and just ahead of Bernardo Silva. It comes for Grealish left-hand side. He will find Cancelo joining the attack now, midway inside the United half. Back to Laporte. Laporte feigns right and then comes left, and now Bernardo Silva takes over. He runs into Scott McTominay, though, does very, very well, and United win the ball back and then give it away and win it back again, all in a very quick motion. Fred goes to ground, so does Rodri, and it drops to Fernandes. He heads it back to Maguire, and he will find Alanga on the right hand side. His first touch takes him away.
Ahead, still to go, but the numbers, however you look at them, are a constant reminder that the merest slip, the merest blip could have massive ramifications, and Liverpool, and more pertinently here, Jim, City are dealing with that in every touch they make, every move they take. And here is De Bruyne. Beyond Foden, Grealish, Cancelo. And the week-by-week football they play, both of those clubs, under that ongoing pressure, is very often remarkable. Bernardo Silva.
Some of the best work the Premier League has ever seen, there's no doubt. You go back to that 98 versus 97 points, and not so long ago, and that was epic sporting drama. That was, and I hope we end up with a repeat this season.
Foul on Alanga by Cancelo, and how Manchester United and their millions and millions of fans worldwide crave the day when United are part of all of that at the really sharp end again.
Yeah, but I would say to Manchester United fans around the world that there's more hope here today. There's a little more optimism at play.
Walker kept it in. Here's Rodri.
Of course, I could regret saying that because Manchester City are what they are, but it is more structured from the men in red.
Foden round the corner, De Bruyne in pursuit. Lindelof firm enough. By Wan-Bissaka, chased up by Bernardo Silva. Teasing Wan-Bissaka, and has got away from him. Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne scythed across it. It's come out to Rodri.
Just a little clip. Fernandes. Just a little clip. I think De Bruyne's effort might well have been blocked. But Wan-Bissaka made an error to begin with, and it all led to that, the little stamp on the foot. I'm sure Laporte will get there. He just can put it out, you know. He can just, or he can try and with his left foot get it upfield. But it was Fred who actually got in the way of De Bruyne's attempt.
This is going to be a De Bruyne free kick, or a Phil Foden free kick. It's Foden. It's deep. It's nudged down for Bernardo Silva. Good block, McTominay. Grealish.
Talk about Manchester City and their left side attacking when David Silva was here and Raheem Sterling was at play, and it's been obvious again today.
Walker by Telles. Tomley with a pass which Wan-Bissaka couldn't make good. This is Phil Foden, who split the difference between Mahrez and the back post.
A funny feeling that in the end he might have been seeking Mahrez rather than the inside of the far post, and he's got to get his act together, Wan-Bissaka, at the start of this second half. I mean, how much time does he want? And he's got a little fella like Foden just barging him off the ball like that. That's got to change. And you see De Gea's immediate reaction was to let fly at at Wan-Bissaka verbally.
Dello had a spell at right full-back, didn't he, even after Wan-Bissaka became available again. Wan-Bissaka in possession now of both the position and the ball.
Yeah, ricocheted back off Wan-Bissaka, and even Pep was pointing in City's direction.
United's form on the road has been very good of late. 8 Premier League games unbeaten away from home. 7 Premier League games away from home unbeaten since the end of November. Not very far away from home here, but with a deficit to deal with.
They've scored more away from home as well this campaign.
Here's Mahrez. 8 Premier League games unbeaten anywhere, home and away, since Wolves won at Old Trafford at the turn of the year. Fernandes, Pogba, Alanga's the chaser. That's an important get from Cancelo.
It is, because when you look at the central pairing being Pogba and Fernandes, there's no real pace to go beyond the City defence, but Alanga can.
Fernandes for Alanga. Fernandes lost just too much of the on-Swede.
Yeah, who's frustrated that the accuracy wasn't there. Again, you can see Manchester United willing to commit that front six, if you like, to the press, and that's forced the longer ball from City now.
McTominay away from De Bruyne, rolled up for Fernandes. And clutched by Ederson, who sets De Bruyne free. Tellers won't willingly let him past.
If there is a next goal, Peter, it could dictate an awful lot.
Laporte, Cancelo, Polish crunched by Lindelof. He started 4 Premier League games in a row, the Swedish centre-half, after a month out of the side. Those 4 Premier League games plus the Champions League game in Madrid. Walker, Mahrez, Laporte, Grealish into his little pocket and through it and away from Fred. Jack Grealish still wriggling and seeing Riyad Mahrez, corner.
Lovely work by Jack Grealish, and in the end he just went for the little dink, but you know, it's a very good position, almost like what we've seen Bernardo Silva doing at times, Phil Foden even dropping into deeper positions. Yeah, he got a little touch there that he didn't want, and it just slowed him up, Mahrez.
It was Fred who made the block, and it's Mahrez who'll take the corner. Mahrez flings it in, Maguire with a header out, back by Foden. It's cannoned out wide again towards Mahrez, who chooses to let it roll.
Yeah, I mean, Laporte went full at it on Harry Maguire.
De Bruyne, Mahrez, Foden, Cancelo, Teo's reached that one. Fernandes caught on it by Phil Foden. It's Foden who was caught between various streams of thought.
Well, Fernandes needs to have a word with himself, because you don't go down like that. You go down like that and you basically disown your defence.
It seemed as though Foden had more options than he knew what to do with. Grealish. His free kick.
He's got the decision, yeah. And Bernardo Silva had to leave it because he knew he was offside and couldn't engage. You know, he's just won the ball, and Bruno Fernandes, I don't like to see reactions like that, because, you know, you're just hoping that you can be helped out by those back there. You know, and on that occasion, initially it was McTominay who got the block.
Foden and De Bruyne with the dead ball. Stones, Laporte, Rodri in blue.
Zinchenko getting a massive round of applause because he's warming up in the corner.
Those Ukrainian flags evident. And Mahrez pouncing on a well-worked set-piece routine. Lifting a shot over.
He's closing in on double figures for the Premier League. I'm sure it won't be that long. And it was just cleverly worked, and Manchester United were slow in responding.
We were mentioning last night how Liverpool have the top 3 scorers in the league. Manchester City nowhere near in that regard, but their goals keep coming from various places, and therefore, lamentable reasons, is their man of the moment, Alexander Zinchenko, who is comporting himself just wonderfully, really, as a proud citizen of his besieged nation. Bernardo Silva, by Maguire.
Yeah, and dominating what we've seen in the second half so far. Alongside Manchester United are not bringing any threat to Ederson.
By De Bruyne, as far as Rodri has it again. Picked something out of that melee.
It was Laporte again. It's Ian Maguire have had 1 or 2 meetings in that box, second half.
Nearly up to the hour now. Substitutions start to become conversational topics. Could be time for a United alternative before very long.
Yeah, and talking about that dominance of Manchester City in the second half, there's support of that in terms of their ball retention. It's gone up a level.
Tomine, good tackle. Fred. Pogba ahead of him. Fernandes ahead of him. This is Anthony Elanga, and it was nicked off his toe and thrust over his own bar by Joao Cancelo.
I didn't know whether to say good clearance or good attempt by Cancelo in the end. I mean, it's another one of those situations. Foden this time is robbed with Matt Fred involved, and he just needed to be more aware. And that touch didn't help his cause.
But United have a glimpse again. Chance for Sancho. And now Bruno Fernandes away by Rodri. Fred. David De Gea on his 25th Manchester derby. And his clearance is going to come right back at him. Here's De Bruyne. And Riyad Mahrez. Fred's little nibble and Manchester City's free kick in a position of huge potential advantage.
Yeah, I mean, this is just unnecessary. It's sloppy. If anything, though, Mahrez is looking to make the contact on Fred. I think he's slightly unlucky in that regard. But again, not the greatest kick in what he was seeking out from De Gea. And immediately it just put Manchester City back on the front foot.
Fifth derby, as I say. Remember last March he wasn't here, he was on paternity leave.
That hat-trick is still on. De Bruyne might want to own this one.
Making precise measurements from his near post. De Bruyne and Mahrez behind the ball.
Just look at the two Manchester City players, Stones and Rodri. They'll be moving.
It's Kevin De Bruyne who pierced the wall. But De Gea stood still and caught it.
And they did move. They did move to enable that to go through.
McTominay, Pogba, twisting away and seeing Elanga, who can have a gallop here and can worry Walker. Elanga, and straight into Mahrez. Now De Bruyne, he was taken out by Maguire, and Michael Oliver has to dip for his card.
Yeah, he's being booed and he's receiving not so kind words for this, but sometimes when you're in that position you have to do that. You have to take a professional foul like that and swallow up the yellow card.
It was a needs must ugly one from Harry Maguire.
Yeah.
Marcus Rashford is stripped and ready to appear. And so is Jesse Lingard. Stones. Pace. And penetration. That is what Manchester United are after. So Jesse Lingard, who has started only one Premier League game this season, is going to come on in place of Anthony Elanga. And Paul Pogba is the other player who is going to give way. Marcus Rashford, whose last two goals in the Premier League have come from the bench, seeks to impact as a substitute again. Wythenshawe boy, to whom this game matters plenty.
And right now it looks like a 4-2-1-3 for Manchester United. Rashford's playing through the middle, Sancho is left, and Lingard is going to operate from this right-hand side. And you know, we mentioned before that Ederson was having a very quiet second half. That's why Manchester United have not even tested him.
Rodri, De Bruyne, Mahrez, Grealish, Cancelo, Bernardo Silva, Cancelo, Cancelo's gone out.
It was meant for Bernardo Silva, and that's why Cancelo couldn't quite keep it in. Well, he's made his move with Lingard and Rashford. And let's see if they can deliver.
To the big boss.
From the centre half Laporte, but the referee Michael Oliver says
Rodri, Walker, he's cut him off in his prime and aimed it long towards Jesse Lingard. He's beaten to it by Cancelo. Victory for City here would have them 6 points clear of Liverpool again, having played a game more. Defeat for Manchester United would leave them a point behind Arsenal, and Arsenal have the games in hand there. Arsenal, we would have to say now, as things stand, plenty of time for it all to change, but as things stand, very much the favourites for fourth place. Bernardo Silva, Grealish, Cancelo against Wan-Bissaka behind.
Yeah, I think he had eyes for Phil Foden, far post, Cancelo, and yeah, he's just lifted his hand as an apology for not finding him. The technical twins are in the corner again.
Stones up at his station. De Bruyne lifting it in. Morris! Oh, that's glorious! Just how good is that? Technique beyond your wildest dreams. There aren't many on the globe who can pull that off. Riyad Mahrez just walked onto the smoothest of half volleys, and Manchester City are 3-1 up.
And Manchester City get the goal.
Well, I agree with you, Peter, because I think there's a shout for Rodri to leave it from Mahrez, because he knows it's actually coming all the way to him, and as it's kind of landing, sometimes the ball can just be a bit lively and it's hard to get over it. It was absolutely perfection from him, but there is a little glance on the way through from Harry Maguire which takes it away and around David De Gea, and it's a little bit of luck perhaps he deserves. And Manchester City, having controlled the second half, have now got the extra space they were looking for.
And it is a 20-goal season in all competitions now for Riyad Mahrez, who has scored 12 in his last 13 games for Manchester City. And the last of them is one that he will surely treasure. Of course, There are footballers down the ages, there'll be many looking on who have been and are capable of doing that, but an ordinary player doesn't do that. Bruno Fernandes, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. United have it to chase now, and chasing a game here ain't easy at all. De Bruyne, Mahrez one way, Foden the other. City in charge. Fred, Lingard, Rashford, no flag yet. Face to face with Stones, Marcus Rashford. Stones won the battle.
Yeah, and I just wonder whether he was hoping that Stones would open his legs, because he could get a shot away then, but it didn't quite happen, and he was looking for where the support was coming from.
Has he beaten the offside trap? The flag stays down each for now. He's into the area, well on the report. Christian turning here, Rashford gets to the right hand corner of the 6-yard box, and he just runs into one blue shirt too many. He gets Crystal West. The flag doesn't go up in the end, so it looks as if Rashford hasn't managed to beat the offside trap, but it comes from nothing in City. But
For all the promise that Manchester United showed in the first half, it looks a huge task now to recover this deficit.
I'm not exaggerating here. Bernardo Silva takes the ball at the edge of the 18-yard box and literally walks 15 yards out with the ball before dumping it off to the left-hand side. It comes back to Laporte. Laporte has time to put his foot on the ball, take 2 steps backwards, and then find Stones, who moves it forward to Rodri, out to Bernardo Silva, and now Cancelo. Only 10 yards back from the halfway line, and Cancelo has enough room to walk, not run, walk into the middle of the field and then dump it off to a centre half. United's press is abysmal. Lingard trying to lead the press now as City go all the way back towards Ederson, but Ederson just finds Rodri inside the D. Fred with a half-hearted attempt to get there, but the ball sent out to Kyle Walker on the right-hand side of Manchester United.
The game, Manchester United have been competitive up to a point. Again, the painful truth will out, and it is seemingly that City, as I guess we all knew, are well ahead of them. Stones. That is not easily palatable. Bernardo Silva, Grealish. De Bruyne and Mahrez beaten out by De Gea.
Yeah, 1 or 2 of his teammates. Grealish is not best pleased, and certainly Cancelo on the far post. Likewise, that Mahrez could have looked to centre this, because on his right foot, trying to beat De Gea on that front post, asking a little bit more.
Mahrez.
Towards Mahrez, who shoots a goal towards the near post, and De Gea makes a save, a 2-fisted save, and the ball's out behind for Manchester City.
Cancelo, Grealish.
So easy for City. Don't take it away from that pressure. Manchester City have plenty of abundance, but they are.
De Bruyne tipped over, City's free kick. He's throwing his arm across. This place is bubbly now. There's a warmth of feeling, renewed certainty. De Bruyne plays it in, Grealish looked to get a flick. Nudged away for Fred. Sancho, but he couldn't get far.
Yeah, and that's fairly reflective of what we've seen now with the amount of attempts that Manchester City have stacked up. United, they sunk in a sea of blue back in November, Peter, and I think that sinking feeling is on the return.
So they won it back, but he's penalised. Rodri. Mahrez. City are always hungry for more. Their appetite is sharpened further when the opposition of Manchester United. Grealish.
This is the part when you know that you've got 2 goals to make up to try and get back on level terms, and Manchester City are showing this kind of authority on the ball. It's demoralising. It's tough to face, and you know that again shows the passing authority that the champions are producing now.
De Bruyne. Grealish. Cancelo carried that behind.
He ran it out. I'm surprised at that. That's not in keeping with the season, but when you're 3-1 up and you've got that 2-goal cushion, you get applause from Pep.
This would be his 8th win for Manchester City against Manchester United. He's beaten Mourinho, he's beaten Solskjaer, and now he is on the point of beating Ralf Rangnick. Just a word about greed for more goals, if City do indeed feel that way. Goal difference at the moment, Liverpool just up to plus 51. Narrow win yesterday. 2-goal lead for City has them up to plus 49. You never know. You never know. We could be talking about those numbers on the final day. Sancho, Fernandes, picked off by De Bruyne. Foden looking to burst through. Maguire shoulder to shoulder with De Bruyne, who wins it. And was close to playing in Mahrez.
De Bruyne has been tremendous yet again.
De Bruyne, who I think is about to be replaced. This might be his last chance to get his hat-trick. Mind, he's not moving that freely at the moment.
And Ruben Diaz, not exactly missed. Bernardo
Silva. It's back by Fred, but it's not late from Bruno Fernandes. He's not having one of his sweetest games. So being a sweet day for Manchester City. And one of their sweetest is being withdrawn. There won't be a hat-trick, but there was so much to love about his performance again. Never mind just those two first half strikes. He hands over the armband and his place in midfield to Ilkay Gundogan, with his own name ringing in his ears.
Well, Pep Guardiola has that luxury now after what they managed to do in Portugal, first leg in the Champions League to Sporting. He's got a very welcome luxury in terms of what he can pick now in midweek.
They don't actually play in the Premier League until tomorrow week. They're a Monday night game next weekend at Crystal Palace, so the games are nicely spread. Mahrez. Bernardo Silva slipped in Walker. It's Walker's cross for Cancelo! To hail horizontal, Mahrez following up. Scythe fresh air.
It's showtime. From fullback to fullback.
I have to say there have been some beautiful goals in the Premier League today. Arsenal scored some glorious ones at Watford. Watford scored a very good one themselves. We've seen the Sancho goal for Manchester United, and the Mahrez half volley, and Cancelo really would have topped that off.
And we've also seen De Gea keep the score down again, as was the case at Old Trafford.
Kyle Walker was playing in down the right-hand side there, but Raven of Manchester picked the pass. He missed out everybody except Cancelo. He hits it on the ball.
Bruno Fernandes battling away to Norvale.
Keep the score at 3-1 to City.
But as we've seen on a few occasions, there's been a cue, and Cancelo was the one picked out. Again, it may not have been technically exact. I think it might have been the very bottom of the shin, but he got great contact on it.
It counts off the shin, you know, Jim.
They do. Well,
you ask Wayne Rooney.
Wayne Rooney, yeah, absolutely. Cucho Hernandez, ask him.
Gundogan. Foden. Rodri.
But the promise that was shown by the men in red in the first half has just disappeared. It's evaporated. No shot in the second half from Manchester United, which is hugely disappointing.
Bernardo Silva weaving away from Fred. McTominay just about stood his ground. Foden went flying in. McTominay cleared. Rashford, who has barely seen the ball since he came on and doesn't get much of a glimpse of it now. In the end, City have simply imposed themselves on the game and had it their way.
On the City player was a lovely run from the City man, but he goes down. He was good defending and Scott McTominay eventually for United, who have a very goal too. City, who are looking like they want more goals, have been forced to go back to the open to just puts his foot in the ball, he's going back to the reverse inside on 6 yard box, and United won't pass that too.
Yeah, and for Manchester United fans, that's what they didn't want to see in this second half. Zero in terms of attempts.
Around the corner from Cancelo for Grealish. Manchester City ever greedy. Tomine stops Cancelo and leaves behind a word.
which Cancelo has ignored, as you do when you've got that kind of a lead.
Manchester United's next game next weekend is against Tottenham at Old Trafford, and they have a Champions League assignment after that, which is a whole lot more complicated than City's. They are all square with Atletico Madrid.
I read something yesterday, Peter, that somebody described the race for the 4th place as like a group of drunks on their way home from the pub, just stumbling over one another. But you're right. I mean, Arsenal have a very, very strong chance now of seeing it through. Whether they can or not is another thing.
It's what they call the Poznan, because of a European tie in Poland years back, when they turn their backs on it, pretend not to be watching. We're not really here. Well, they are, and they're loving it.
And there's thousands of them peeping over their shoulders.
In by Foden, Bernardo Silva gave it a crack, and Wan-Bissaka is winded. Mahrez, Bernardo Silva.
Speaking of cracks, I hope Wan-Bissaka's ribs are intact.
Just hooked away into the area. Shot comes in from Bernardo Silva. It's blocked by the stomach of Wan-Bissaka. He stays in his feet. He looks a bit wounded there. Bernardo Silva takes on
Gundogan. Bernardo Silva. Grealish. Rodri. He's played in Cancelo.
Yeah, the touch got away from him, needed to be in front of him.
Bernardo Silva. Walker. Laporte. Presented back to Rashford, who dashes clear of Gundogan. That last 10 minutes, 88%, but Rashford's playing it in, and they just had to reach it. And Walker wins a goal. His first away win comes not very far away, but it's a bruising one. And it is, truth be told, in the end, a pretty emphatic one.
I think you get an honest appraisal from Ranić.
Foden slips in Gundogan, and Gundogan for Mahrez, who this time didn't catch his volley pure. Grealish, Rodri, Grealish teasing Wan-Bissaka, and Gundogan scrapes it wide.
Mishits it, Gundogan, and he is finding it hard to understand how he managed that. But the break prior to that was the definition of slick for Manchester City. And once Grealish got in that position, he should be converting. Gundogan, and immediately upon missing, the hands went straight to the face.
Across the 6-yard box, and what should have been a 4th goal for Gundogan He scotched it wide. Really poor effort from Michael Gundogan. The Manchester City
Championes is the song. Championes is what they are.
Gundogan really should have scored a lot
more still to do to retain that title, but days like this don't half help. Talking of United's upcoming fixture list, of course, their game due at Anfield at Liverpool towards the end of the month has had to be moved to who knows where, because Liverpool have progressed in the FA Cup. So that's a wild card game that's still out there and could have an impact on the dynamic of the title tussle. But here's Gundogan, fiddled through for Riyad Mahrez to seal it in style, but the flag is up.
I thought so. I thought maybe just offside. Got a fraction too early. But yeah, once this is won and helped forward off the face of Rodri, I think he's just leaning into an offside position. Tellers was the one that may have kept him onside, but he had a quick look and he knew. He probably was expecting something to be raised. Or is it? Do you know what? It might not be. Depends on where the foot of Tellers is planted.
Yeah, that stray foot could be pertinent here. At the moment of the pass, you can just see a sort of light blue-green boot there. Goal side of Mahrez and his right knee.
Looks on because of Tellers' foot.
It's on. It's on. Riyad Mahrez has sealed it in style. Thumping finish. Bashed through David De Gea.
Well, just look at the way it hit Rodri in the face, and they're able to take it on from there, and then the little slip pass from Gundogan. And I mean, De Gea can do very little about that because it's absolutely powered at him, and it just catches him on the shoulder side of the head and finds the far corner, and he can celebrate likewise as De Bruyne has with two.
Manchester United won.
And as it turns out, City have crunched United here. That is nasty reading for Reds. And blissful for Blues. We're having fun now. In the seconds that remain, it's a foul by Fred. It's a City free kick. Kevin De Bruyne has made man of the match. As it happens, it's Mahrez who still has time to get a hat-trick here. But his smile is broad enough. In by Foden, out by McTominay. Partially cleared by Sancho, reclaimed by Grealish. Flicked wide by Rodri. Here is Mahrez. Hoisted away by Tellers.
Taken a little longer to get there today for Manchester City, but it's emphatic once more.
The Blues are couple of super first half goals, but they were trumped by a couple of quite brilliant second half strikes from Riyad Mahrez. One a hit of finesse and technique, rarely seen. The other a forceful thump that made absolutely sure of a forceful City win that left the Reds in ruins. The final score at the Etihad, the champions and still the leaders, Manchester City 4, Manchester United 1.
And you would have to add the favourites as well to retain their title, although that isn't done yet, despite the fact that I think they were celebrating another one towards the end of that half, those City fans. And I understand them getting a little carried away. The only thing for me that's a certainty today is that he doesn't get the job.
No.
And it smacks of Pullet and Shearer. Remember when Rudy left Allen out for a derby in the northeast? If you do that, Andy, as you've said, and I think many others so many times, you've got to win the game.
Yes.
Now, he's made a big call today on Ronaldo. He'll come out again and tell us he's injured. I think the general conclusion is that's not the case.
Well,
he could have been there, Ronaldo.
If that's not the case, if he was injured, he should have been there first and foremost, showing his support to his teammates. If he was left out, he still should have been there. But he probably thinks he's Cristiano Ronaldo. You've left me out with the derby of all games, and you want me to sit in the dugout and be sub? No, it wouldn't surprise me if that's happened.